Hello, and welcome to the Language Lab podcast. My name is Siad, and this is my diary thing about my language learning journey. It is early January 2025, and I thought that because everyone else on the internet is doing it, and in real life, that I would share a few, or most rather, of my language learning goals for 2025. I will say that I think my 2024 was pretty good. I track my hours, and I believe I landed somewhere around the 300-ish mark, give or take. There's some times that I don't track and things like that. So I would say that it was pretty good. I felt like I was learning and doing things that were fun and meaningful to me, and they helped me progress in some ways, even if small. So I want to continue to do that in 2025. And I wrote down some things that I thought I would share. I have overall goals for my language learning in 2025, and this first goal is very ambitious, and that is to do 1,000 hours, which averages to just under 3 hours a day. And I don't know if that I will actually get anywhere near this goal, but that's totally okay. I just want to spend time with and doing language learning stuff. And if I even get 200 more hours than I got this year or this past year, then I will be really, really excited. So 1,000 hours total. And that's divided up between, I have here 5 categories. So for Spanish, French, and Japanese, I would like to do 300 hours each. And again, my tracking is reading, writing, taking classes, sometimes listening to music, podcasts, watching movies, just anything that I'm doing when I'm surrounded by the language. So I include all of that stuff and I track it in apps and things like that. So 300 hours each between Spanish, French, and Japanese. And then ASL, American Sign Language, I'd like to do around 75 hours. And this goal is hour-wise, it's much smaller because I'm recovering from a hand and arm injury, and my right hand, my dominant hand. And so I will not be doing any sort of sign language practice, American Sign Language practice, for the first part of the year. And I probably say the first 6 months, half of the year. But I think that after I get back, in the second half of the year or so, or maybe even sooner, that I will be able to do at least 75 or so hours. And then I have dabbling here for 25 hours. So I don't know what that looks like or what that means. It could be learning the alphabet of another language. It could just be, who knows, but that's sort of what I have planned. So I would like to now share a little bit about each language's activities that I plan to do. So those are my sort of overarching goals. And then I have goals for each language, and they're kind of broken down a little bit. So I wrote them down in my planner. I use a very thick, but a planner that I like. It's like an Erin Condren. Let me look here. Erin Condren Academic Planner, focused. So it has a really beautiful vegan leather brown cover, and then I have another cover on it, and I have been using it for the past 4 or 5 months, and I really, really enjoy it. So back to my hours, or actually back to the activities that I want to do in each language. So I'll start with French. I would really like to take the DELF, for the DELF A1 exam, or at least take a practice test, stimulate the environment, and do well. So I want to pass all of that. Beyond that, I have some workbooks that I would like to complete in the Progressive du Français series, the A1 level. And then I also want to complete Assimil for French, and I've done maybe 10 or so of those lessons. And then I would also like to do Pimsleur, the first level or a little bit more. Class-wise, I want to continue with the Babbel classes and do just as many of those as I can, and then finish the Babbel courses, the app, as well, as much as I can of that. I probably, of course, won't get to the C1 level activities, but I think I can get to at least through the A2 activities in preparation for the A1 exam and or practice exam. Beyond that, I would like to read 25 books, have 2 meaningful interactions completely in French. So I'm planning to go to Montreal again with my wife, and I want to be able to answer and talk and understand. So when we went last year, I was able to do that a little bit, but there were definitely times where I just had to ask people to speak in English. And so even if it's not an entirely long 15 or 20-minute conversation, I just want to have 2 meaningful interactions completely in the language, off the cuff, with people in person. And then I want to, I think maybe I said, read 25 books. So these books could be, they can be comic books, they can be manga, they can be picture books, children's books. Books to me are books. It doesn't matter if they're audiobooks, it doesn't matter if they're picture books or comic books. And so just want to consume 25 of those. I want to learn some songs. So I'm an artist, I'm a guitar player, and sometimes I sing, but primarily I play the guitar. And so I want to learn some French songs. Maybe I'll upload one of those videos or a podcast about that. And then I want to watch 25 French movies. So I really like movies, and I want to watch a lot more of those. And I also want to finish a few series. So some short series, maybe two or 3 series is what I want to do. So that's sort of French. Turn the page to my Japanese language goal. So I want to pass the JLPT in 5. Again, I might not actually go to a testing center, but I want to be able to simulate a test, a practice paper for the N5 exam, and do well with that. I've been doing Japanese on and off, I would say mostly off, since probably the beginning of 2023 or so. And I've not been as consistent, but I think, and I'm going to keep striving to have some consistency, because I really want to learn Japanese, and I am learning Japanese. I just want to learn more and progress. So aside from the N5 exam, I would like to at least surpass level 15 in WaniKani. I've been, again, on and off with WaniKani for a while, but I think I can do it. And then I have a list of workbooks that I want to complete. So I'm using the Genki textbooks, and I want to do the first and second Genki textbook and workbook. And then I also have the Kanji Look and Learn book as well. So sort of similar to other activities that I want to do. I want to learn 6 songs, read 12 books. Again, these will mostly be picture books. I do also have some graded reader style things that I will include in this 12. I want to have 1 short conversation, whatever that ends up looking like. I want to watch 12 movies and complete 5 series. So I really like Japanese television and anime, but the series I have watched so far in Japanese I really enjoy. So I would like to do that. So that's for Japanese. Next, we will go to Spanish. So I've been learning Spanish since I was in high school. I started that in 2007. So I took many gaps after graduating high school. I took it all 4 years in high school, and then I had some long gaps, and I can do sort of a separate episode about each of these languages and my journey and my progress so far. But I would say that I've been consistent with Spanish the most, and that's because I know the most in it. So I've been learning it pretty consistently since, I would say, early 2022, which is when I finished college or school or university, however you want to say that. And I have passed the A2 exam. So I do have the certificate somewhere here in my office. But the goal is to pass, the goals for this year to pass the DELE B2 exam. This one is one that I do want to register for and take at a testing center. I live in a city that offers the tests in person, so it's not a huge lift for me. I am planning to do it in November, so I have quite a bit of time, and I already have all the books that I need, all the tests. I've taken the test, so I wouldn't say I'm comfortable with the format, but I'm familiar enough to know how to prepare, and I believe that I will be able to do it given the amount of time that I've given myself. So a little bit related to that, I have, again, some workbooks that I want to complete Spanish step by step, and then some other DELE exam prep books and Practice Makes Perfect, Complete Spanish Grammar. I'll probably do quite a bit out of that one as well. And then I have some other Spanish textbooks that I got while I was in Spain last year. So I want to do those. I want to do a ton of Babbel Live classes, and then I do want to finish all of the Babbel courses on the app. So I want to go all the way. I started sort of at the beginning, so I started around the A1.2 app lessons, and then I'm going to go all the way through, I believe they have all the way through C1 or maybe C2, so I do plan on finishing those, again, in preparation for the DELE B2 exam. Otherwise, I want to read 50 books. I want to write a review of some sort for each of these books. So I have a little journal where I've been writing reviews of Spanish books in Spanish to practice my writing. I'm debating whether or not I want to also put those online, perhaps on Storygraph, which is where I track my reading that other people can see. So I'm thinking about that. We'll see. I want to watch 25 movies. I want to finish 3 series, and then have 10 meaningful conversations and interactions. And a lot of people here do speak Spanish. I have some Spanish speaking friends, and so I think I will be able to do that pretty easily. And then I just want to continue to, in all of these languages, absorb culture and meaning and learn about them as much as I can. So the next is American Sign Language, ASL. Let's see, I started ASL in early 2023. So it's been about 2 years. And this is one that I don't spend quite as much time with and on studying, but it is very important to me to continue learning it. My wife is also learning. She's much better than I am, as this is her chosen profession in life. So she will progress much more than I will, and much more quickly. But I do want to be able to communicate with people who know sign language, with deaf and hard of hearing people that I meet. And so this is why it is important to me. Also, as a musician, as someone who works in the performing arts, it just matters to me to be able to communicate with people. So I want to review some videos from previous courses that I took. I took 3 levels of ASL, and then I've taken other classes as well, but I still have access to the videos for all of those courses. And so there are about 8 or 9 videos, there are 8 or 9 weeks in each of those courses. And so I want to review all of those. I've been reading a book about deaf community and culture that I want to finish. And in addition to that reading, I'm also taking notes on that. I do want to take another course. Again, ASL, I won't be focusing on as much practice-wise anyway, until the second half of the year. But I do want to take a class. And then I want to read more books. I have at least one more book. I want to have more, but I only know of a few. So there's definitely some research and asking my wife what she's reading about that. And then I want to watch the Daily Moth videos, which are news videos that are produced every day in ASL. So I want to watch those. And then I want to do about 15 minutes of immersion total per week. So that's outside of the Daily Moth videos. That could be YouTube videos. I don't want it to be Instagram or social media content, but it might end up being that. But I've also found some people reading books on YouTube and signing in ASL, so I might be able to use those as immersion. And then there are some movies, there are some sportscasts that are interpreted, and so I do have some options there. That's sort of all of the things that I have written down for my 4 main target languages. There will be some dabbling. Who knows what that is? Dabbling will honestly most likely probably be watching movies and or series, because I enjoy movies a lot. I want to keep doing that. And so that's where a lot of the dabbling will come in, though I do also want to learn the Arabic alphabet, at least learn to write it. I have a practice book. So that might be where a lot of the dabbling comes in. And that's just, this is all for fun in a way, right? I take this very seriously. I believe in language and communication. I believe there's this strong connection to music and language. I don't believe that music is a universal language, but I do believe that there is a strong connection between the two. And as a musician, I want to be able to talk about music in my other languages and share music and make connections between composers and culture and music and language. So all that to say is it is a hobby, but I do take it pretty seriously. And so that is why I have this diary, this podcast. That's why I write things down. I track them. I do research and stuff like that. So that was my 2025 language learning goals. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to updating you on all of the things throughout this year as I run my little experiments and do all of the cool stuff. So thanks so much for listening, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon. Thanks so much.